attention to half of the stuff that happens when it comes to this stuff. I'm glad that he's here because, boy, I'll be looking, I'm like, man, stuff is flashing. He'd be like,
What's going on?
I'll be like, is the button? He'd be serious, but I'll be like, good Lord, what are we doing here?
Got to make sure the angles is right.
Man.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Square Business. It is season 3.
Yes, sir.
We keeping the train rolling, man. Glad to be here today. I'm going to let Curtis take it away.
Well, as y'all know, we getting into football season. I'm about to say college football about to start, NFL's going on, but what about your local teams? Today we have a IT specialist, local elder in his church, and also a football coach, Mr. Derek O'Joyce. How you doing today, sir?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys being able to sit down with you and talk a little bit football and life. So
Yeah. And as you see, we're in another location, so we're at Greater New Jerusalem. We want to give a shout out to...
I'll give a shout out to my Bishop, Keith Hill, a preaching machine, a leader, a shepherd at his house. I just want to give a shout out to him for everything he does here in the community, in the church, with the youth, just everything he does.
Yes, sir.
Say, man, look, I'm glad to get you over here. I mean, knowing you for a little bit of time, seeing you from across the sidelines, man, we just wanted to get you on here because a lot of times when we get into this season of life, man, a lot of people don't even understand kids' mental health is an important thing as well.
Right.
So being a coach, I wanted to get you on here, get your perspective because I might be a coach too, but my perspective ain't the only one.
That's it. And that's what we need to realize, that it is about the youth. And the youth go through so much now. They're exposed to so much. So when I wanted to get into coaching, and I've got 2 kids. I got a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old. And my 7-year-old, he's really into sports and football right now. So my main thing when I decided to coach was that it's just not about expecting kids to go to the NFL to get them to college, but eventually these young men are going to be grown men.
Yeah.
So now is an opportunity for us, coaching at the youth level, to establish a foundation and just start building on that foundation.
Yes, sir. So, I think that's an amazing thing because when we talk about not every kid's going to the NFL. We got some great athletes. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
but we've seen great athletes go peak in high school then fall off. We've seen kids be great in Pee Wee and then they find other avenues. So a lot of times it's about balancing. What's the sports achievements without your own home achievements?
That's a good point because talent can win you ball games, but character's gonna win in life. So it's a lot about somebody who has a great character, and especially at this young age, they're like sponges.
Yes, sir.
They're soaking everything up. So us being men, we can be the role models that they need. Start building on the foundation, and that's why with football. It's a sport. It's a hard sport, but you can take it and use it in life for the hard times, for the preparation, for the accountability, for just being disciplined. It teaches you just not, how to play a game, but how to walk through life. So that's why I'm just so proud and excited about what's getting ready to come up and what's going to happen.
So how do you navigate with today, NIL is a thing now, and social media and kids idolizing other players. A lot of players come out of the South, Florida and such. And what's the name? That guy that used to he tours the country.
Destroy?
Yeah.
Destroy.
Channels like that, YouTubers that go around the country and do different things. How do you keep the kids that you work with grounded? And I guess what I'm trying to say is, how do you get them to see their worth, not, like you said, not having to chase the league or to be successful?
Right, and that's important as coaches. The first thing we have to do is show every player that they're valued. That it doesn't matter if they're the best player, the worst player. Every person has value and have a purpose when they're on the field. And I think the thing that we have to show them and help them right now is just to fall in love with the game. At a young age, fall in love with the process. And that's even through life. In life, we have to go through a bunch of processes. There's failure, there's temptations, there's trials that we have to go through. And at the end of it, you're going to have to resist, So be resilient And I think if we can just establish the love of the game for the kids early, I think all that outside noise and showing what's important and how important team is, that all that outside noise, they'll be able to stay focused and stay grounded.
Sure. Yeah, I think, you bring out a real good point, because we getting to that point, man. Some coaches is like, hey, do I want to prioritize winning, or am I supposed to prioritize player development? And we're in that that league where it's a yes and.
Yes.
So how do you kind of balance, when do you let the talent be the talent versus when do you develop?
That's a good question. I think what we need to set the point is, it's just not about winning, and it's about learning. Just life, it's about learning. And if we can set up that you're here to learn, we're building on the foundation, we're going to mold you just not to be a good athlete, but a good man, then I think everything else will follow. I mean, if you teach them the technique, you teach them the skills, it's just like life, man. Somebody taught us, somebody showed us the way. Now, it was up to us, either we're going to stay on that straight and narrow or we're going to veer off. So once we set the foundation for them and we stay on them, I think everything will work itself out. So,
yeah, I think that's so important, because I know my pet peeves, right? Because even in my talent versus development piece, one thing I always tell people are my quote unquote unforgivables.
Yeah.
Penalties.
yeah.
Like there's certain penalties that I just don't tolerate. Unsportsmanlike conduct,
Right.
And because I'm a lineman, holding. But it's also the mental penalties, false starts, offsides, stuff like that. So how do you? And I'm building this question up because I know I've had kids who commit those type of penalties, and
Right.
because they know the standard, right?
Right.
They get down in their feelings, they begin to cry or whatever. How do you manage a kid that's having those heavy emotional moments because there's a lot of pressure to
Right.
win or be that better player?
And the worst thing we can do at that point is belittle a kid. The best thing I think you can do is pull them to the side, talk to them, give them some one-on-one, and explain to them. Because I can go off on a kid and belittle him, but the best thing I can do is pull him to the side, explain to him what he's doing wrong, and give him another opportunity, because somebody gave me another opportunity. So and what I try to instill in my kids, and even with my kids at home, there's 3 things. And I call it RAP: respect, attitude, purpose. Respect yourself and respect others. A good attitude will take you a long way, and everything you do with a purpose. And I think if you can live by that and go by that, everything's going to work itself out. So.
What kind of response have you seen from the young kids that you work with?
When I'm on the football field and I'm preaching and I'm ministering, they expect for you to be kind of soft, gentle. But when I'm on the field, I'm aggressive. I let them know they're listening, because kids are going to feed off you. If I come out there down, if I come out there with a bad attitude, kids are going to feed off that. So if I come up pumped up, I'm ready to go, I'm excited about just being there, just showing up, the kids are going to, it's going to be an overflow for the kids, and they're going to pick up on that. So once kids see that, they just kind of just gravitate to it, and they're ready to go. So,
I love that balance of play, because people look at a preacher and they're like, man, you got to be, you got to be wound up, hyped up, but they don't understand the passion that you throw behind it, right?
Right.
Like even, and I want to ask this question, because when I heard you talk about rap, man, that thing really touched me. But what is the greatest compliment you've gotten back about your kids? Even if it's been something from a season long.
Right. Just respect, the way they carry themselves. Even in the hard times and the bad times, they carry themselves like winners. And that's and I try to give them life lessons, because it's things I've experienced, man. I've been through some tough times as well, and I've been in the valley. But while I was in the valley, I wasn't dead. You know what I'm saying? So when they get in those tough times, or they go through a couple losses, or some hard times in practice and games, that they can keep going. It's not over from there. You have to keep doing it with a purpose and a good attitude. So
when passing the torch, so to speak, and giving them the lessons that you learned at an earlier age, what kind of impact does that have on you now, seeing them take that in and apply it to their own life?
That brings me great joy. Just not that they're good football players or they're talented kids, but their character speaks volumes. You know, that they say, oh, I've seen so and so out, and you know, it's yes sir, yes ma'am, this and that, showing respect, good attitude. I enjoy that more than anything else. Forget about the wins. I mean, because later on down the road, we won't remember scores. We won't remember how many touchdowns they had, but we'll remember the character and the type of person they were, you know, and what they developed into. Because eventually these young men are going to be husbands, fathers, you know, business owners, leaders, you know. So I get more joy out of that than anything else, just seeing that the quality of character that they have.
Yeah. What are those conversations like when, you know, the game is over, or, you know, it don't even have to be at practice. It could be out in the community. They might see you, or you might be having an intimate conversation with them. What is that interaction like with them?
Sometimes it's going to be a little hard and a little harsh, you know, because sometimes I can't be light with you. I got to keep it real with you, you know, and it's going to be some tough conversations. And sometimes tough conversations are the conversations we had that need to have a turnaround, you know. So, but I show them respect and they show me respect. So they accept what I'm giving them because they show that I'm walking what I'm talking. You know what I'm saying? So they said, well, Mr. Derrick's doing this, Mr. Derrick's doing that. I need to maybe do something a little different, you know? So first I got to earn their respect, you know, and then give it back to them. So
I think we've all dealt with different styles of coaching, right?
Right.
We've all dealt with the good coaches, you know, that are good for you, and then the coaches that kind of, you know, make you not want to play the sport again.
Right.
And oftentimes, you know, that's on our own staffs. Mm-hmm. How do you navigate with the kid? Because my standpoint is, like, I'm not always the best role model or mentor for every kid, but I'm going to be the best role model mentor I can be for the kids that want it.
Right.
So how do you navigate saying either a kid that doesn't want necessarily to deal with you, or even dealing with a kid that's dealt with a bad coach?
Right. And that's hard, you know, because some bad coaches, I mean, they push the kids away from the game. You know, they don't want to be there. And it's all about trying to get the kids focused and having fun. It's about having fun. I mean, at this age, at this stage, it's about having fun with these kids, man, to develop a love with them, you know. And I try to love on that kid a little more, you know, not showing favoritism, but showing that he has value out here with his team. And once they establish, oh, yeah, I'm out here for a reason. I'm out here for my team, for my boys. It seems like they just kind of gravitate and pick up on it and go. So.
And that was one, like I asked the earlier question, like with NIL and all that stuff, I kind of feel, my personal take on the NIL, I feel like it's kind of working against those morals and values that you're trying to teach. So have you had those kind of conversations before where it's like, hey, you know, you might not make it?
I really haven't had it because they're little right now, you know, so we really hadn't had that conversation. But I've thought about that, you know, and it seems like greed can just overcome everything, you know?
Yeah.
And even like some of the players coming up that were great players, man, it just seems like when that greed starts to get to them, they start to go the opposite direction. And I think now is just the time to put into them that, you know, you got value, man. You know, it's not all about the money, but let's learn. Let's pick up. Let's go with the process. You know, let's get better and just go from there.
Yeah.
So.
And we predominantly see it with high school players, some college players, but I think that, like you said, it is important to instill that in them in an early age. And I think that if you do that, it's more effective in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like Curtis, you know, you were talking, when you said that, I was thinking about some of the coaches I had. And we can't coach like we were coached, you know? We can't do that anymore.
You might get canceled.
Yeah, big time.
Might.
Yeah. I mean, we can't coach like that. So now we're in a time to where we have to figure out and program and maneuver to where we're not stepping beyond boundaries. We're not disrespecting kids, you know, talking down. Because I was there, man. I had great coaches, you know, and I remember some of the lessons they taught me. I carry those still today, man, you know. But now we're in a time to where we have to navigate and do things different. We have to do things to hold kids' attention. We have to do things to make it fun for them. We have to do things to just for them to evolve and make a difference, man, in the sport. So it's not like it used to be when we were coming up, man. Not at all. But, I appreciate the times we're in because we have to change. We have to figure it out. So
I think, something to Rodney's point, where we're not dealing with necessarily NIL, but we're battling social media.
Yeah, big time.
We're battling kids saying, Coach, I got to go out there and do a highlight reel. They're more focused on what they dance is,
Right.
their celebration is,
Yep.
than actually learning the game. Because they're like, I'm going to get them kids that are first year for playing football, I'm going to get 400 touchdowns,
They're practicing dances before they're doing anything else. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because social media is so impactful in their life, man. And it's hard to deal with that because, even with social media and even dealing with like parents or upset players, the first thing they do instead of come to the coach is they're tweeting, they're texting, they're on social media talking about it. So, but yeah, it's a hard thing to navigate around right now. So
Yeah, I figure that's got to be tough because, on one end, you can't really be too upset with them because that's just the day and time that we live in, and this is their time.
right.
We were lucky enough to see life before and after that.
Yeah.
I ain't get a phone till sixth grade almost.
Yeah.
Middle school. And then even then, I had a brick.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I was in 11th grade. I was a senior. Got my first one.
I think I was a senior in high school too. When I could work and pay for it and take care of it, that's when I got one.
That old Nokia, I couldn't even play Snake on that first phone. All it
you
was
had
was
the brick
calls.
for real.
I knew two numbers, my grandma and my mama. But now these kids, they got TikTok. They setting up before practice to do a TikTok dance.
Right.
Come on, coach, do this with us. And sometimes, not every time, I tell them, I was like, look, we got 15 minutes. Now's the time to lock in.
Yep.
Trying to find, like you said, that balance.
Right.
Make it fun. Let them be interactive. Let them still be kids.
Yeah.
But when it's time to lock in,
Gotta lock in.
gotta lock in.
Yeah. Let's take care of business. So, yep.
Well, want to take a break right quick and we.
Yeah, we'll be right back after this. Thank you for watching the Square Business Podcast. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to follow our Facebook page. Now let's get back to business.
I tell you, man, that man, he be walking like he doesn't know what he doing. Oh man.
All right, we back.
Yep. For those of you that didn't know, or you getting in the middle of this, I don't know how you did or not. We got Derrick Joyce here, local elder, local coach. Say possibly one day national. We're gonna see if the Lord elevates. But we talked a lot about kids' mental health and how we as coaches manage that. But I think a lot of time what goes overlooked is how coaches have to manage their own stuff. How do you manage how you show up? We kind of touched on it, but how do you manage your emotions or your even mental being on days where you may not feel like it?
Right. Because sometimes you're dealing with someone, you may be dealing at home problems, work problems, and then.
I just scooted up.
Oh man, I'm tripping. My bad, y'all.
Yeah, sometimes because you come to practice, you've dealt with stuff at home, you dealt with your own kids, you dealt with stuff at work, and sometimes it's hard for a coach to get focused and ready to go and get locked in. But sometimes I have to just go off to the side and just pray a little bit, man. I'm not gonna lie, I have to pray, and my prayer life is strong. In football, at home, you have to have a prayer life. Because I'm telling you, you got to protect your peace, and it's hard to do sometimes because, those little ones, they will push every button that you have, but you got to protect your peace, man, and just go out there and just try to get yourself focused.
So that's one thing, but what about the parents?
That could be a touchy subject sometimes, Fortunately, I haven't had to deal with real bad parents so far, but but my advice to parents is just let your kids be coached. A lot of parents, they don't want their kids to be coached. They don't want to be coached hard. But football is a hard sport, and there takes discipline. There takes some hard conversations. But let a coach coach. Don't belittle the kid, you know. Keep him focused, keep him grounded, and everything's going to work itself out, you know. And sometimes, you know, you have to have those hard conversations with parents. Well, why is my son playing? Why is he not doing this? Why is he not doing that? Well, was he at practice? You know, is he giving his full effort? And if he's not, you know, that's a conversation you may need to have with your kid, you know.
Touching on that because, you know, and this isn't to bash parents necessarily.
not at all.
Because, you know, everybody has their own issues, right?
Right.
Like, if you don't, I say, I'm going to ask this question, like, how do you navigate the space where, say, if you have a child whose parent can't get them there, and you know, you're doing everything that you can, but yet there still comes an issue there. Like, what do you do to kind of mitigate that kid that maybe necessarily can't make it to practice or got some behavioral issues that go on, you know, in the midst of practice because of what might be happening at home?
Right. And for a kid who can't get there, I'm the type of coach, I'm like, listen, if he needs a ride, I got you, you know. I'm not just your coach, but I'm here for you, you know. And I've dealt with players that have had behavioral issues, and sometimes you just got to pull them out to the side, man. You know, talk to them, try to get them reps, because you don't want to seclude that kid and bash just that one kid. You don't want to do that, you know. But those conversations have to be had sometimes, you know.
And being an elder, you know, because everybody, like you said, expects the preacher, the elder, pastor to be soft. They expect you to be more reserved. They expect you to have to give grace and give mercy at all times.
All the time, yeah.
But realistically, we're coaching a sport that you can't always be that way.
Nah, I mean, we're a violent sport, you know.
Yeah.
It can be a violent sport, you know, but I haven't been saved all my life, man, you know. and I know how it goes, you know. I've been there. I've thrown hands. I've done all that, you know. And I think that's why I can help kids out more, because I have experienced those things, you know. So, but elder, coach, dad, you know, whatever title it may be, I still got to serve God, you know. I still have to be that role model, you know. Even I can't get myself out of character, even though I want to go that direction. I have to get myself grounded, keep myself cool, and keep myself planted, you know.
What they say, try Jesus.
Don't try me.
It's deeper than the sport, man, because you got to be a dad at home, but you got to be a father figure to some of those kids who don't have a dad at home.
And that was one of the reasons I wanted to get into coaching, man, is because for 14 years it was just me and my mom. Shout out to my mom, Kim Law, because she held it down, man. You know, 14, she my dad, and, you know, he helped out. He helped raise us. He helped, you know, the man of the house. But for 14 years, man, I didn't have a father. You know, I mean, I had my uncles, I had my coaches, and I know going out there with some of those kids, man, they are in the same situation I was in. They don't have somebody to look up to. They don't have somebody to talk to. They don't have somebody they can just express themselves to, man. And that was my main goal. I'm just not getting in this to coach, to win games, but I'm getting in here to change somebody's life, you know?
So I can tell that brings up some stuff for you right there.
Oh, yeah.
There's some passion right there
Yeah,
because, you know, because I'm not a father yet, but you being a dad who has had kids that have came up under you,
Yeah.
how do you even balance as a father? I mean, the elder and the coach piece is cool, but as a father that's coaching,
Man, and I'm a single father too. So I'm raising two boys, a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old, pretty much by myself. And so what I had to do is just not become the father, the disciplinarian, but also the nurturer too. So I had to find a fine line between I'm gonna discipline with this, I'm gonna nurture here, you know, because you know how he's the hard one. He's the hard one to talk to. So now I have to navigate on how I can get them to come communicate with me when there's a problem, right? You know, without there being an issue or them kind of shutting down. So I had to figure those two things out, and it's not easy at times, you know, but it's worth it, you know.
Dad being a nurturer, you don't hear that a lot.
Right.
not at all, man. And I want to commend you on that because, that's a balance. Like you said, being the person that has to bring the energy, coaching a violent sport, having to navigate these parents,
Yeah.
but then also having to go back home and be able to turn all of that off
Right.
to be nurturer. Man.
Right.
Like that can be a hard road to toe, because I think I told you I got into this thing because a kid from right down the street said, "Hey, we need a coach."
Right.
And like you said, you see the need, but you also, from your own story, know the impact that can make.
Right.
And man, brother, I just commend you on that, man.
Yeah. I mean, I wear many hats, man, you know,
Yeah.
but like I said, it's worth it every day to watch them grow as just little boys into young men, and just being a change in somebody's life. You know, I don't care who it is. It's just I want to make an impact on somebody's life. You know, it doesn't matter how much time I have to pour into you, how much love I have to pour into you, but I want you to be able to step back, and if you ever need somebody and say, "Hey, Derek, help me out," I can go to him. I can talk to him. You know, and I can be their outlet if they need someone. You know.
Man, you just kind of hit on what I was going to ask you. I was going to say to the single parent out there, whether it be a mother or father that wants to get their kid into sports and is worried about how their child's going to be perceived, because we've seen people, you know, get mad at a coaching staff or mad at a league team, and the next thing you know, they're gone, and then all of a sudden everybody's asking you the question. Like, what would you say to any parent that would bring their kid to Independence football?
Bring them. We're going to teach them just not how to be great athletes and players, but how to grow into men. You know, we are building a great program right now. Things are looking up. Things are going great. And everybody's on one accord right now. And it's all about the kids. And I think once other places start to develop that this is about the kids. It's not about me. It's not about winning ball games, but it's about that kid. It doesn't matter. I have this thing where we talk about our grade cards and our grades, and I give them a coin, and all it is just a little Patriot coin that I give them, and just an initiative just to keep going, you know, to show you that it's just not about football, but it's about what's going on in your life, you know, how you're feeling, how you're doing on all aspects. It's bigger than sports, you know. So
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah,
I commend you. We need men out there that you know, have a vision for the kids and just doing the Lord's work. That's exactly what the Lord wants us to do.
Right.
Is extend that hand and pull the next one on along. So
Real quick, because you know I'm propping up Independence football, Beckley football. We do a lot of that same stuff. Say we ain't just gonna highlight this team, man, because
they're doing good things too.
And trust and believe when I say this, there are plenty of kids, and there are enough teams that your kid can go and play and be developed.
Right.
So, you know, shout out to any and all teams throughout the league. We're just up here representing ours because, you know, that's just the way that the ball falls. But even if you choose to leave a team, we ask this question. Don't put the press release out. Say, just make sure, like, if somebody told me, hey, we're going to go over to Independence or something like that, I'm going to say, man, look, I know a great brother over there that's going to develop your kid and coach your kid.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things, like you talked about rap, right? Respect. Mm-hmm. One, I got to have respect for my fellow coach, my fellow brother in the ministry, whatever you want to call it. But also, I got to understand that he might be able to do stuff better for that child than I could.
Right.
Maybe it's because the location is better. Maybe it's because there's more opportunity over there versus having like 20 kids in one position. Yeah. But, you know, I think, you know, I just want to say it's a lot of good folks throughout the league. And we going to always prop y'all up. You know, shout out to you if you're getting ready in this season. And just keep doing you for real.
Right. And I think everybody in our league has the same one goal, one mindset, one team, you know? And I think we bring that all together. I mean, kids are in good hands.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you doing the toe touch competition this year?
I don't know about the toe touch.
Yeah,
I may be down for a week or so if I try to do that toe touch.
I retired, man.
But I got video of you, though, so I know you can do it.
Hey, brother, appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
I really do.
Thank you, man.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Square Business. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe on the videos on the channel. Hit the bell notifications so you know when our content drops. As always, we appreciate you. Brothers, I appreciate y'all. Till next time, keep standing on your square, man.
Square business.